A very good morning. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with breakfast news. Let's begin the bulletin with the top headlines. Railway Minister orders quick replacement of old railway tracks. Chairs meeting of Railway Board officials, asks for eliminating unmanned level crossing within a year. India refuses to be part of declaration referring to violence in Myanmar's Rakhine state at World Parliamentary Forum on Sustainable Development in Indonesia. NIA searches at 11 places in Jammu and Kashmir and National Capital Region in connection with probe into terror funding. Close aides of Hurriyat leader Shabbir Shah among those raided. US President says military action against North Korea not inevitable. This as Mexico expels North Korean ambassador in view of latest missile test. And Roger Federer and Venus Williams out of US Open. Juan Martin Del Potro beats Federer. Sloane Stephens beats Venus. Sania Mirza and Chinese partner through to the next round. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has asked Railway Board to divert rails marked for construction of new lines to stretches prone to accidents and where replacement was due. He also directed the board officials to expedite procurement of new rails, to complete laying of tracks in pending projects and eliminate unmanned level crossing within a year. The minister said this while chairing a meeting with top Railway Board officials. Goyal also instructed the board to install anti-fog LED lights in locomotives to ensure unhindered and safe train operations during winter. Goyal, who assumed office after the exit of his predecessor Suresh Prabhu following a string of derailments, also said that the process of replacing old coaches with modern LBH bogies should be speeded up. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has said that 5 major projects connecting rivers will kick off in the next 3 months. The projects will cost about 50,000 crore rupees. Speaking at an event in Panjri, the new Minister for Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation said that the project of river connectivity has always been close to his heart. He added that connecting rivers can solve the problems of floods in some places of India and drought in others. According to Gadkari, the centre wants to spend around 80,000 crore rupees in 5 years for irrigation. Gadkari also said that work on development of inland waterways in the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers is going on and will be completed by 2018 with 40 river ports. He also said that we will begin working on cleaning the river Ganga. Black money worth 4,900 crores has been disclosed by 21,000 people post demonetization under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. The top income tax official said that government has collected a tax of 2,451 crore rupees till now from these declarations. The official added that IT department is now following up the legal processes with the declarants in few cases. Post-demonetization, the scheme was launched in December last year by the government to enable people with black money to come clean by paying tax and penalty of 50%. It closed on March 31st this year. The government has also termed the PMGKY the one last window for black money holders to come clean by paying tax and penalty on their undisclosed illicit wealth. 24 years after the serial bomb blast in Mumbai, a special court sentenced 2 men to death and another 2, including extradited gangster Abu Salem, to life imprisonment. In June, the Tara court had convicted 6 people for the 1993 blast, one of whom, Mustafa Dosa, had died of a heart attack a few days after his conviction. More details in this report.
Weeks after convicting them in the 1993 Mumbai blast, the Special Tada Court awarded the death penalty to Tahir Merchant and Firoz Abdul Rashid Khan. It sentenced gangster Abu Salem and Karimullah Khan to life imprisonment. Riyaz Siddiqui, who was absolved of the conspiracy charge, was sentenced to 10 years in jail.
दो आरोपियों को डेथ पनिशमेंट दी है और बाकी के दो आरोपियों को लाइफ पनिशमेंट दी है, एक को 10 साल की पनिशमेंट दी है। 5 में से 2 को डेथ, 2 को लाइफ और 1 को 10 इयर्स दिए।
Abu Salem was spared the death sentence because of India's guarantee to the Portuguese government under an extradition law. Salem was extradited in 2005. He was one of the masterminds of the blast along with Mustafa Dosa, who died of a heart attack after his conviction in June. Dosa was extradited from the UAE.
जो एक्स्ट्राडिशन ट्रीटी के मुताबिक उसे के फांसी की सजा मांग नहीं सकते थे, इससे उसके खिलाफ आजीवन कारावास बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट की साजिश में कोर्ट ने आजीवन कारावास की सजा फरमाई।
Victims of the 1993 Mumbai blast reacted to the verdict.
ये तो बहुत ही कम और फनी थिंग है, खाली 2 लाख का जुर्माना लेके उनको ऐसे सजा सुनाना मुझे लगता है कि बहुत ही कम और माइल्ड सजा है।
गुना छोटा हो या बड़ा हो, गुना गुना ही होता है और ये गुना तो माफी के लायक है नहीं, क्योंकि पूरी भारत की, इंडिया की इकोनॉमी हिलाने का वो लोग का प्लान था और पब्लिक को हैरान करने की बात थी। उसके लिए ये सजा उसके लिए कोई मायने नहीं रखती है, उसकी सजा मृत्यु दंड ही होनी चाहिए।
Political parties also welcomed the judgment.
टाडा कोर्ट का आज जो मुंबई ब्लास्ट के बारे में निर्णय आया है और अबू सालेम को जिंदगी भर की जेल की सजा सुनाई है, ये आतंकवाद के खिलाफ की लड़ाई में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है।
In a classic case of thorough investigation, all the accused were decisively arrested. UPA had brought Abu Salem after deportation from Portugal with the help of Interpol. With his conviction and life imprisonment today, and with death sentences to others, the justice is finally culminating. Now the next step should be to bring back Tiger Memon and Daud Ibrahim, the 2 terrorists who are also guilty of these Mumbai blasts, and to ensure that they are dealt with in accordance with law.
ये एक ऐतिहासिक फैसला रहा है। 24 वर्ष का इसमें विलंब हुआ है, जो बहुत ज्यादा है। ये पीड़ित के लिए भी एक निराशा की बात है कि इतना लंबा काल उन्हें इंतजार करना पड़ा, और जिन्होंने गुनाह किए हैं उनके लिए भी ये 24 वर्ष बाद शिक्षा देना अजीब सा लगता है। और तीसरा, समाज के लिए, देश के लिए, कि हमारे समाज में एक संदेश सही जाए कि अगर कोई गंभीर गुनाह करता है तो उसे तुरंत फौरन सजा होनी चाहिए।
India's financial capital Mumbai was shaken by 13 blasts on the 12th of March 1993. Property worth 27 crore rupees was damaged, while 257 people were killed and over 700 seriously injured in the attacks and subsequent communal violence that followed in the wake of Babri Masjid demolition in Ayodhya in December 1992. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some more news. The National Investigation Agency carried out searches at 11 places in Jammu and Kashmir and the National Capital Region in connection with its probe into terror funding on Thursday. 9 places in Kashmir and 1 each in Jammu and Gurugram were searched in connection with channeling of funds through trade across the line of control. Prominent among these searches include Hurriyat leaders Ghulam Nabi Shumji and Syed Aga Hassan Badgami, and close aides of Shabir Shah, Zamir Sheikh and Razak Chaudhry. Shabir Shah is at present in judicial custody after the Enforcement Directorate arrested him last month in connection with an earlier case of money laundering. The NIA registered a case on May 30th in which the leader of the Pakistan-based Jamaat-ud-Dawa and banned terrorist outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hafiz Saeed, was named as an accused. The NIA has arrested 9 people in the case of alleged funding of terror and subversive activities in Kashmir Valley to fuel unrest there.
NIA is doing its duty. It's in the national interest. They are doing all this crackdown, and it's in the national interest. Here nobody should have any kind of objection. They are carrying out their mandate which has been given to them,
and exactly NIA is carrying out the professional task assigned to them, and they are doing a good job.
तक इससे एक बात तो प्रमाणित हो गई कि जो प्रक्रिया सरकार के द्वारा प्रारंभ की गई थी, ये कहीं न कहीं किसी न किसी निर्णायक मोड़ पर लाई जाएगी, और जिस प्रकार की निर्णायक कार्रवाई अब देखने को मिल रही है अलगाववादियों के प्रति या उनके समर्थकों के प्रति, इस प्रकार की कार्रवाई कई दशकों में, कई वर्षों में देखने को नहीं मिली।
अलगाववादी या उग्रवादी जो पाकिस्तान या दुनिया के किसी भी देश से यहां गैर कानूनी तरीके से पैसा लेकर आते हैं और फिर उसका इस्तेमाल भारत के खिलाफ करते हैं, इन पर रोक लगनी चाहिए। अगर एनआईए उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई कर रही है तो ये बिल्कुल सही और उचित कदम है।
Meanwhile, a civilian was killed and 15 others, including 3 policemen, were injured in a grenade attack in Kashmir's Jahangir Chowk. Security deployed at Jahangir Chowk were apparent target of the grenade attack, which took place at around 5:40 p.m.
अभी ये हमारी जो फोर्सेस का क्लोजिंग टाइम था, रिपोर्टेडली सम मिसक्रिएंट हैज ट्राइड टू थ्रो अ ग्रेनेड ऑन द डिप्लॉयमेंट, बट रिपोर्टेडली वो उसके अपने पास ही फट गया एंड ही इज आल्सो हिमसेल्फ इंजर्ड। अब लेट अस वेरीफाई द अदर फैक्ट्स।
Meanwhile, a border security force has apprehended 3 Pakistani fishermen and seized 18 boats from Nala Creek area along the Indo-Pak border in Gujarat's Kutch district. The BSF said during the operation that patrolling unit fired 2 rounds in self-defense and to stop the other fishermen on these boats from fleeing. However, many fishermen managed to escape. With this fresh operation today, a total of 5 Pakistani nationals have been held in the last 2 days, while 21 of their boats were seized during patrolling in the creek area by the BSF. The area is a sluggish and shallow water channel within the territorial border of India. It is accessible from Pakistani side through a canal or channel approximately. However, it cannot be accessed easily from the Indian side as it is marshy, being a part of Run of Kutch. Meanwhile, in a show of solidarity with Myanmar, India has refused to be a part of declaration adopted at an international conference in Indonesia's Bali. An Indian parliamentary delegation led by Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan disassociated itself from the Bali Declaration adopted at the World Parliamentary Forum on Sustainable Development, saying that it carried inappropriate reference to violence in Rakhine State. The Indian delegation took the stance on a day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his visit to Myanmar, where he expressed solidarity with the government there against the extremist violence in Rakhine State. A press release issued by the Lok Sabha Secretariat said, and I quote, "This was in view of the fact that the declaration which was to be adopted at the conclusion of the forum was not in line with the agreed global principles of sustainable development. The purpose of convening the parliamentary forum was to arrive at mutual consensus for implementation of SDGs, sustainable development goals, which requires inclusive and broad-based development processes. Therefore, the proposed reference to the violence in Rakhine State in the declaration was considered as not consensus and inappropriate," unquote. And with that, time for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay with us. Harappan sites are a treasure trove of sophisticated pottery. These creations show tremendous advances by the potter's wheel. Creations like the perforated jar, the copper axe, the chisel and knives astound even present-day archaeologists. Figurines depicting yoga poses, chess pieces display a complexity unsurpassed even by later-day civilizations, all of which make the Harappan civilization truly unique. Welcome back. Some union ministers and other constitutional functionaries met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday. Among them were Minister for Drinking Water and Sanitation Uma Bharti. Others who met the Vice President included Union Minister for Food Processing Industries Harsimrat Kaur Badal, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India Shashikant Sharma. Manipur Governor Dr. Najma Heptullah also met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, and Minister of State, Independent Charge for New and Renewable Energy Rajkumar Singh. He also met 3 state governors, Lieutenant General Nirbhaya Sharma, the Governor of Mizoram Dr. Kiran Bedi, Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry, and Dr. K.K. Paul, the Governor of Uttarakhand. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will today embark on a 2-day visit to Ranchi. On the first day, he will hold an interaction with neo-literates and literacy instructors organized by Jharkhand government in Tana Bhagat Indoor Stadium at Khelgaon. On Saturday, he will be the chief guest and lay the foundation stone for the construction of Ranchi Smart City projects. As the number of swine flu cases continue to surge in India, the death toll in Odisha rose to 44, with 2 fresh deaths reported from different private hospitals in the state capital. People infected with the H1N1 virus stands at 365. To keep a check on the spread of virus, the state government has issued guidelines to both government and private hospitals for treatment of swine flu patients. In Madhya Pradesh, swine flu has claimed 44 lives, with 5 patients each succumbing to the deadly H1N1 virus in Bhopal and Indore districts since July 1st this year. So far, 226 positive cases of swine flu have been reported from different districts of the state. 45 patients were found infected with the H1N1 virus in Bhopal and 36 in Jabalpur. In Indore, 17 positive cases of swine flu were detected during that period. In the backdrop of mounting international pressure to act against the terror groups, Pakistan Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif is in China to garner support for his country. Khwaja Asif held meeting with Chinese counterpart Wang Yi and is reported to have discussed a range of issues. He is also slated to meet China's State Councillor for Foreign Affairs Yang Jiechi. The visit comes after BRICS nations expressed concern over the threat posed by terror groups, including those based in Pakistan, and after US President Donald Trump criticized Pakistan for providing safe haven to terrorists. The aim of the visit is part of efforts to develop support for Pakistan. The 2 foreign ministers meeting is added significance. On Wednesday, the Indian Chief of Army Staff General Bipin Rawat said that he was not ruling out a 2-front war with Pakistan and China. On to some more international news, the most powerful Category 5 hurricane Irma has killed at least 10 people across a number of Caribbean islands. One of the strongest storms ever recorded has caused widespread destruction and a number of casualties in northern Caribbean islands, specifically in Barbuda, which has been literally reduced to a rubble. Florida is on high alert and has ordered evacuation, while Carolina and Georgia have also declared emergencies.
After leaving a trail of destruction across the Caribbean and 10 deaths reported, Hurricane Irma is battering Haiti and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Packing winds of up to 290 km per hour, the Category 5 hurricane, the highest possible level for a hurricane, is posing a risk of storm surge of up to 20 feet in low-lying Turks and Caicos. The British Territory Islands are getting heavy rain and powerful winds. Residents have been told to stay put.
The Royal Fleet Auxiliary ship RFA Mounts Bay is in position, providing assistance from Royal Marines and Army engineers, and a military task group is on its way on HMS Ocean with several hundred UK troops. And of course we will continue to look at what is needed and provide what is necessary.
Haiti is also vulnerable as its infrastructure is yet to recover from a devastating earthquake in 2010. The storm has caused some damage to buildings and flooding, with rain and winds lashing the northern port city of Cap Haitien. People in low-lying areas have been evacuated.
Position qui prend ces gens là, toute équipe protection civile là est motivée, tout le monde sous pied depuis hier après-midi disons, mais la police là c'est non seulement pour passer l'abri provisoire, mais pour passer dans zone à risque.
Meanwhile, the US is bracing up for the storm with warning that Irma will make landfall in southern Florida as a dangerous major hurricane and bring life-threatening storm surge and wind impacts to much of the state. Mandatory evacuations have been issued for many counties in South Florida. Residents of the coastal cities are stocking up food and other essential supplies. Navy ships loaded with equipment and supplies have been dispatched to assist with relief efforts. Flights to and from airports in Florida are being suspended. Schools have been closed.
We're very concerned. We are working very hard. We have tremendous groups of talented people there. The people of Florida are like the people of Texas, Louisiana. You've seen how the people of our country have reacted under this tremendous pressure and these horrible things that we call hurricanes. This is something that is probably bigger, not as much water, but much more power than Harvey.
Hurricane Irma first struck the dual island nation of Antigua and Barbuda. At least one death of a child was reported on Barbuda. About 95% of the buildings here have suffered damage.
On a per capita basis, the extent of the destruction in Barbuda is unprecedented. And it is unprecedented based on the type of storm. I mean, Hurricane Irma would have been easily the most powerful hurricane to have stormed through the Caribbean, and it is extremely unfortunate that Barbuda was right in its path.
Island of Saint Martin, which is a French territory and has a Dutch section, also suffered terrible damage. At least 5 deaths have been reported and more than 50 were injured. 60% of the homes have been made uninhabitable. At least 3 people died in Puerto Rico. British Overseas Territories, Anguilla, where 1 death was reported, and the British Virgin Islands were also caught in the extreme weather. Red Cross says an estimated 1.2 million people have been affected by Irma, and that could rise sharply to 26 million. There are also concerns that disease could spread rapidly in areas where drinking water and sanitation services have broken down. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
North Korea's nuclear tests have attracted global condemnation. After seeking tough sanctions against North Korea at the UN, US President Donald Trump has said that he hopes to resolve the North Korean nuclear threat without the use of military. He said that military is an option, it's not inevitable. Meanwhile, Mexico has expelled the North Korean ambassador from their country, declaring him the persona non grata. Here is a detailed report. US President Donald Trump hopes to avoid launching military action against North Korea. Speaking at a White House press conference along with the Emir of Kuwait, Trump said that military action was an option after North Korea's nuclear test, but it's not inevitable. Trump also said attempts at diplomacy with Pyongyang had failed over the past decades. He added that if it comes to military action, it would be a sad day for North Korea.
Military action would certainly be an option. Is it inevitable? Nothing's inevitable. It would be great if something else could be worked out. Hopefully, we're not going to have to use it on North Korea. If we do use it on North Korea, it will be a very sad day for North Korea.
Cannot be seen as defensive. He wants to be.
The United States has already proposed a resolution at the UN seeking broad new sanctions on North Korea and assets freeze of leader Kim Jong-un. Moving in line with the US stand on North Korea, Mexico has expelled the North Korean ambassador, declaring him persona non grata. In a statement, Mexican government said that it had given Kim Jong-il 72 hours to leave Mexico, calling North Korean nuclear activity a grave threat to the region and the world. Russia and Japan too have decisively condemned North Korea's launch of a ballistic missile that flew over Japan. Addressing a joint news conference in Vladivostok in Russia, Vladimir Putin and Shinzo Abe agreed that the crisis around the North Korea should be resolved only by political means.
Мы решительно осудили пуск северокорейской ракеты средней дальности, которая 28 августа пролетела над территорией Японии, а также новые ядерные испытания, проведенные 3 сентября. Своими действиями Пхеньян, конечно, создает серьезную угрозу миру и безопасности во всем регионе.
弾道ミサイルの発射や過去最大の核実験を行った北朝鮮を最も強い言葉で非難します。
北朝鮮がこのような道を進んでいけば北朝鮮に明るい未来はない。このことを北朝鮮に分からせて、その政策を変えさせる必要があります。
Meanwhile, European Union ministers met in the Estonian capital Tallinn to discuss the situation on the Korean peninsula. The informal meeting came after the bloc's foreign policy chief, Federica Mogherini, called on member states to increase sanctions on North Korea following Pyongyang's largest nuclear test to date. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. News from the world of sports. Ace tennis player Juan Martín del Potro has reached the semi-finals of the ongoing US Open Tennis Championships at Flushing Meadows in New York. The 24th seeded Martín del Potro beats five-time champion Roger Federer 7-5, 3-6, 7-6, 6-4 in the quarters. He will now face Rafael Nadal in the fight for the final spot. In another shock exit, Sloane Stephens defeated 9th seed Venus Williams in the first All-American women's semi-finals, defeating the two-time champion 6-1, 0-6, 7-5 this morning. Stephens, who is playing after returning from a foot surgery, moves on to her first Grand Slam final, where she will play the winner of another All-American semi-final between Coco Vandeweghe and Madison Keys. In women's doubles, Sania Mirza of India, along with her Chinese partner, has entered the semi-final of the women's doubles. The duo defeated the Hungarian-Czech pair of Timea Babos and Andrea Lavavakova 7-6, 6-4. And today is International Literacy Day. On this occasion, the government will mark the day with an event in Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will be the chief guest of the program. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar will preside over the event, while Union Minister Dr. Satyapal Singh and Upendra Kushwaha will be the guests of honour. The theme for this year's 51st International Literacy Day is Literacy in Digital World. The program would include felicitation of dignitaries and conferring of Sakshar Bharat Awards. The Sakshar Bharat Awards are given to the best performing states, districts, Gram Panchayats and NGOs. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.